This is a formula for dermal or inhalation weaponized chemicals, which cause constrictions, convulsions.
Exposure to nerve agents in form of vapor, liquids, or particulates result in severe convulsion followed by paralysis.
I want you to imagine how extremely dangerous
October 23, 2002, Moscow, Russia. More than 40 terrorists armed with numerous explosives seized Dubrovka Theater, taking 850 hostages. The theater layout provided tactical advantage for the terrorists, as special forces will need to breach through 30 meters of well-defended corridor before reaching the main hall where hostages were held. Thus, no point in direct storming. After 3 days of negotiations that had come to nothing with the terrorists who claimed allegiance to Islamic separatist movement in Chechnya, officers of the Federal Security Service pumped an undisclosed chemical warfare agent into the theater through the ventilation system and began the rescue operation as all terrorists were neutralized and up to 130 hostages died upon exposure to the chemical agent in what was later known as the Moscow Theater Crisis.
It has been firmly speculated that chemical warfare agent used was a mixture of potent fentanyl derivatives and halothane, weaponized inhalation anesthetics proportioned to neutralize or incapacitate through chemically induced apnea, in which carfentanil and omfentanil were dissolved into halothane. It is worthy to mention that the rapid effect of carfentanil was obvious compared to lofentanil, which was used by Mossad in the mismanaged attempt to neutralize Hamas leader in Amman in 1997.
Halothane has that pleasant ethereal scent. In my opinion, it handles survival stress among targets, as most terrorists feel unconscious, even those who were equipped with gas masks. It took them about 20 to 30 minutes to saturate mask filters. Keep in mind, no terrorist had activated any suicide belt.
Incoordination was obvious. On one side, they had utilized sophisticated chemical warfare agents. On the other side, they had limited supply for antidote medicine, naloxone. Yet the concept of causing euphoric mass mortality somehow eliminates the psychological dynamics of guilt, a significant shift into advanced warfare, I think.
September 5th, 2004, Kyiv, Ukraine. Sudden illness had left Viktor Yushchenko's face with large abscesses and blisters. The timing was extremely suspicious only 2 months before his election, as the pro-Western Ukrainian presidential candidate had promised to bring Ukraine closer to the United States and Europeans. Yushchenko was transferred to Vienna to receive emergency medical treatment, in which subsequent tests determined that he had been poisoned by 2,3,7,8-tetrachlorodibenzodioxin, or TCDD, which was slipped into his dinner, a potent dioxin and an impurity found in the banned herbicide Agent Orange.
Toxication symptoms for dioxin in general include eroded stomach, eroded intestine linings, and paralyzed facial nerves.
Agent Orange is an herbicide which was used by the United States military in the Vietnam War to defoliate Viet Cong areas in an effort to cut off supply and eliminate hideouts.
Reported side effects for Agent Orange exposure include cancer, birth defects, miscarriages, skin disease, and blisters.
Yushchenko made a full recovery, yet orange was his campaign color, which was further associated with the Orange Revolution that brought him to power through repeat runoff elections upon American and European efforts to marginalize Russian influence in Ukraine, a proxy war that continues to present day. And as for Agent Orange, it was just a message. March 4th, 2018, Salisbury, United Kingdom. Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia were found collapsed and unconscious on a bench near the city center. The Russian military intelligence defector and his daughter were immediately hospitalized, in which investigations concluded that they had been poisoned by Novichok nerve agent, which was sprayed on Skripal's home front door by undercover Russian military intelligence officers.
Novichok nerve agents are considered third-generation nerve agents. As for lethality and persistence, you have first-generation sarin, which was utilized in Syria. You have second-generation VX, which was utilized by Saddam Hussein in Kurdistan.
Nerve agents disrupt function of a human nervous system by interfering with the enzyme acetylcholine esterase. Poisoning happens through inhalation, dermal exposure, or ingestion. Exposure to nerve agents in form of vapor, liquids, or particulates result in severe convulsion followed by paralysis, unless combination of atropine, oxime, and diazepam are administered after proper ventilation.
As Skripal and his daughter made recovery with tolerable long-term implications, Novichok had made headlines again on August 20th, 2021, upon suspected poisoning of the currently imprisoned Russian oppositionist Alexei Navalny.
The way I see it is that Novichok has been used as a propaganda more often. Notice how Novichok has always been utilized to neutralize individuals, not masses. Since Novichok chemicals are difficult to synthesize as for lab scale from safety perspective. I want you to imagine how extremely dangerous an industrial production is. And even with highly trained operators and strict safety measures, you need to know that safety measures required for conceptual Novichok production is way intensive in reference to pesticide production facilities.
Euphoric mass mortality, think about fentanyl derivatives. Abusive mass mortality, think about nerve agents. Political messages conveyed by means of chemicals, think about Agent Orange. What if chemicals were mass weaponized, not only to cause mass mortality, but to send a deeper psychological message based on your apocalyptic mindset? Because chemical formulas are perceived within apocalyptic literature.
Then Allah will raise a wind which will be fragrant like musk, and whose touch will be like the touch of silk. It will cause the death of all faithful persons, not leaving behind a single person with an iota of faith in his heart, without constricting him.
Think about vapors or aerosols with traces of artificial fragrance, like glyxolide. Touch of silk may refer to non-irritant, non-vesicant, anti-inflammatory. Think about traces of dimethyl sulfoxide. This is a formula for dermal or inhalation weaponized chemicals, which cause constrictions, convulsions. Think about nerve agents.